Hello everybody, today we're going to be taking a look at this Keystone LED corncob bulb. Now this is actually meant to be a replacement for a high intensity discharge fixture. In fact, that's where I found this thing. This came out of a Hubble 400 watt pulse start metal halide floodlight. A good coworker of mine at work and friend found two of them while out on a service call, sitting on a dumpster, and brought them back to the shop for me. One of them had this bulb in it, the other one was missing a bulb. One was pulse start metal halide originally, but of course they disconnected the ballast, but the ballast was still in there surprisingly. And the other one was converted to 400 watt probe start metal halide. So I kept that ballast. It was a much better shape than the pulse start one. And I cut the bulb here and the sockets and some other things. But either way, here is the Keystone replacement bulb. Now I'm thinking one of the reasons why this cracked and broke just by moving around is that it has probably seen a lot of hours and has gotten quite hot. So the plastic here looks to have become quite brittle. So obviously we have all of our LEDs here on these aluminum tracks to help dissipate the heat that they produce. The interesting thing here is that there's no fan. Now, GE obviously made a big bulb like this as well. I have a video of it on the channel. You know, I'm just going to not try, I guess. And it had a fan in the end to help blow air through the heatsink fins. That's not present here. You can see cracking probably from heat as well. I don't even know if this thing works, but I thought I'd do a video on it. So Keystone, interestingly, I always thought they made just really cheap ballasts that you'd find in, you know, cheap shop lights and things like that. But maybe they make quality things, or maybe I'm thinking of something totally different. But either way, I've seen this Keystone name on a lot of LED retrofits lately. Maybe it's just because it's salient to me. It's relevant now, and it wasn't before, because now I've heard of it. But this one is 120 to 277 volts, so it does require the ballast to be disconnected. And you can see it's a LED for HID replacement, about a EX39 shape here. You know, it's obviously not that. 54 watt, 5000 K. That's really about it. Got another hit there from something or another. And obviously the inside. So it looks like we have our main connectors there for the LEDs, and then there's these extra wires here, and I'm going to guess that's like some type of thermal protector, unless that goes up to these up here, but I'm going to guess thermal, because this thing probably, if it gets too hot, will probably want to shut down. But you can see they also potted all the electronics in here in some type of gray resin. So there's not really anything serviceable in there, and again, I don't know if that's something to help with the dissipation of heat, so it doesn't ruin the electronics. Not entirely sure. If this thing does work, I'll probably just use some super glue and get it glued back together. But anyway, there is our bulb. Let me go ahead and we'll try screwing it into our socket here. That'll be an adventure in, yep, that happening. How are we going to do this? Well, I guess we'll just be really gentle and patient, which I don't really feel like being with this LED bulb. Okay, anyway, it's broken. We know that. Let's go ahead and see if this thing even works. Here we go. Oh yeah, that's bright. Definitely not as bright as like a 400 watt metal halide that it's supposed to replace, but yeah, this thing is glary as can be. Let's take a look here. We're at 119.1 volts, 0.45 amps. Oh, a major difference compared to a high-intensity discharge. 53 watts, and a power factor of 0.98. Wow, very good. Okay, but, you know, that is to be expected for a commercial application. Important that the power factor is as close to 1 as possible. Okay, yeah, the thing is bright as can be. You do have the LEDs on the end there working. And it looks like the rest of them are working too here. I'm not seeing any that are burned out. Let's turn off our main lights here, and I'm going to hold this thing up like this at our 2-foot mark. And for 2 feet away, we're getting 1750 lux or so, we'll say. And of course, let me try to figure out how to hold this thing. Of course, the Seaconic always goes to sleep when I want to use it, but you know, that's just how it is. See the LEDs there. Now, it's not dimmable, so we're not going to try to dim it. It'd probably just turn out in a puff of smoke, which would be entertaining. But it's an interesting bulb, so I kind of like to have it in the collection. Okay, let's see what we get here. Let me make sure we have LEDs facing right at it. Did we get something? Yeah, it's just so bright I can't read it. But there it is.
Spectrum of the bulb at full brightness, and CRI of the bulb at full brightness.
I'm surprised, honestly, that it has a CRI of 86. I didn't think it would be that good, but, you know, if it's in a commercial application, you know, maybe I've seen these things used everywhere, these LED retrofit bulbs, from parking lot lights to can lights at the mall, just anywhere. So I'm surprised it actually has some decent color rendering. The other thing is I'm not noticing any terrible flicker. Now, I usually wave my hand over the LED bulb, and if it's a terrible LED circuit, you'll notice because you'll kind of get a shutter effect with your hand moving back and forth, and this doesn't have that. So it's definitely drived quite well, because this is a driver, they call it, instead of a ballast, and it's driving the LEDs. And like I say, it's doing quite well. It doesn't have any visible flicker to the naked eye, which is nice. I'm just not the biggest fan of daylight, but, you know, whatever. Yeah, okay, let's turn our lights back on here that it totally, you know, doesn't outshine at all. Yeah, there's some cooldown for you. Let's see here. Yeah, so it looks like there's 2 diodes per little chip here. And if we take a closer look, I should have glued this thing before we did the video, but I thought it would be fun to see the insides. I don't see anything about voltage. What does that say? 94 volt, 94 V? Definitely a beefy heatsink on this thing. Yeah, I definitely need to get some super glue or something on it. But, you know, this part of the bulb is heavier than this, so there's a lot of strain going on here, really. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, let's turn it on again. It takes about a half a second or something to come to life. Anyway, there it is. A Keystone LED HID retrofit bulb. Pretty neat. Like I said, I'll glue it up here and keep it in the collection. I don't really have giant LEDs like this because when you come across them, they're quite expensive because they are the relevant thing at the moment. You know, everybody's looking for these things to convert their fixtures to LED. As much as I don't like that, they are popular in that regard, and they definitely require a high dollar amount to get them. So there it is, a Keystone HID LED retrofit bulb.
As always, I do hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, be sure to give it a like down below and leave a comment. I do enjoy reading all of your comments. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more great videos like this one. Also check out my secondary channel Merkove and subscribe over there for more behind the scenes and alternative content. Of course, check out the other videos here on this screen, and as always, thank you very much for watching.